Oh hi! I was just writing an email to Sonic Team. Dear Sonic Team, I'm a big fan of your Sonic the Hedgehog series, but always have a lot of trouble deciding what character to play as. Have you ever seen the movie Sophie's Choice? It's alright. 3 out of 5 stars. Anyway, can you please make a game where I can play as all my favorite characters at once? Also, give Big the Cat a gun. Forever yours, Captain Bone. And send. Now we wait. Play Sonic Heroes? Sonic Heroes? Bone? Sonic Heroes. An important game in the Sonic the Hedgehog series, as it was Sega's first multi-platform release when they became a third-party developer. It also reintroduced the Chaotix to the series since Knuckles Chaotix on the 32X. It was a celebration for Sonic's 12th anniversary and aimed at a wider audience than the Sonic Adventure series. But is it any good? Reviews for the game were mixed upon release, but I remember getting this game in 2004, and I had a good time with it. But it's 2018 now. My tastes have changed. I like lemons. Will I feel the same about this game? Will I be like the rest of the internet and hate Sonic? Let's find out. Sonic Heroes, a 3D platformer created by Sonic Team. But unlike the Sonic Adventure series, you control 3 characters at once, in teams. There are 4 teams. Team Sonic, made up of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Team Dark, made up of Shadow, Rouge, and Omega. Team Rose, made up of Amy, Cream, and Big. And Team Chaotix, made up of Espio, Charmy, and Victor. Each team has a different story. Team Sonic are chasing after Eggman, after they receive a nice letter from him saying he's going to conquer the world in 3 days.
3 days, I'll conquer the world!
Team Dark are looking for Eggman, so Rouge can rob him, Shadow can learn who he is, and Omega wants to get revenge for being programmed to feel loneliness. Team Rose are going after Sonic. The paparazzi just released an embarrassing picture of Sonic getting out of a car with no panties on, with his pals Chocolate the Chow and Froggy. Cream and Big want to be reunited with their friends, while Amy wants to be rejected by Sonic. Team Chaotix run a detective agency. They receive a walkie-talkie in the mail from someone who requires their services in exchange for money, which seems to be their policy.
You know our policy!
The gameplay is similar to the Sonic stages from the Sonic Adventure series. You run through each stage trying to get to the giant ring at the end, but unlike the Adventure series, you switch between the 3 characters to get through the stages. Each character represents the 3 different playstyles: Speed, Power, and Flight. The Speed character is the fastest and can also perform the homing attack, Tornado Jump, and Rocket Excel that you never use. Sonic, Shadow, and Espio can Triangle Jump, and Sonic and Shadow can use the Light Dash on rings, while Amy can, do this? The Power character is the strongest, and can defeat enemies faster than the other characters. They use their teammates to defeat enemies by either throwing them or using them as some kind of boxing gloves. The Flying character can fly? Yeah, that's about it. They can also perform the Thunder Shoot, where they shoot at their teammates at enemies. In the very brief time you lose your teammates because they are standing on a switch or something, the Flying character has another attack. Tails and Rouge have ring dummies for some reason. Cream sends her little Chow out to attack, and Charmy attacks with his stinger. This is the first Sonic game that introduces enemies that require more than one hit to destroy. This isn't really a big deal except if you're the Flying character. When the Flying character attacks, they just stun the enemy, then you have to switch to another character to finish them off. But you can get around this when you... Each character levels up 3 times. Each time you level up, your character gets stronger. The Speed character can just homing attack to do the Tornado Jump. This is helpful for attacking enemies with shields or going at poles. The Power character gets an attack that can take out large hordes of enemies at once. This is really useful when you're in boss battles. And the Flying character can destroy enemies. This is just helpful for the Flying character. You level up by going through checkpoints as the character you want to level up, or by finding power cores, either in item capsules, balloons, or that enemies drop. In the top right corner you have your Team Blast meter. You fill up the meter by destroying enemies and collecting rings. Once the meter is full, you can perform a Team Blast. A Team Blast will destroy all the enemies on screen. This is good for boss battles, and for when you need to destroy all the enemies to open a door or release a switch. Each team, except Team Sonic, get a little something after a Team Blast. Team Dark freezes time for a bit. This is more annoying than helpful though, as most of the time you're just waiting for time to start again so a fan will work or so you can continue with a boss battle. Team Rose gets a shield and invincibility. Each character also goes up 1 level. Team Chaotix get a number of rings for each enemy they destroy. This is really useful in enemy horde boss battles, as the Team Blast keeps refilling after each use. There are 14 stages in Sonic Heroes. You play through each stage 4 times as each of the separate teams. Each team is basically a different difficulty setting. Team Sonic is normal mode, with stages lasting 5 to 8 minutes. Team Dark is hard mode, with stages lasting 8 to 10 minutes and with more enemies. Team Rose is easy mode, with stages lasting 3 to 5 minutes and with less enemies. And Team Chaotix is more mission based, with you finding specific items or doing a certain task. This here is one of the biggest problems with Sonic Heroes. The fact that you have to play the same stages 4 times with little differences doesn't make for a good time. Going through the game the first time is enjoyable, but then you have to go through it again and again and again. I found Team Dark to be the worst team to play through. The levels are just too long. 10 minutes is too long for a Sonic level, and that's not taking into account all the deaths along the way. Team Chaotix had a similar problem with long stages. Team Rose was refreshing with its short stages, especially after playing Team Dark. I feel like Sonic Team's idea was a family or group of friends would play the same save file or something. Another problem with Sonic Heroes is the controls. I found the controls to be good at the start, but as the game went on I found the controls got less responsive. This was mainly with the speed character, and when you need to use the homing attack or travel across rings with the light dash. If the game is making you use the homing attack, it should work. And if I need to cross a trail of rings, the game should let me and not throw me off the edge or into an enemy. Another part with bad controls is the casino stages. These stages are broken. The first stage has pinball tables. You use the flippers to hit your character to the top, but the problem is you can't aim. And some of these characters are too big and can't get through the gaps. The second stage is even worse as it's a bingo table. You roll down a table and collect numbers to get bingo and collect rings. Some of the tables have pits in them, and that is a big problem. You can't control your character when they're travelling down the table, so you can't avoid the pits. What's the point of having these pits if you can't avoid them? But it's not all bad. The graphics look nice. I don't think it looks quite as good as Super Mario Sunshine, but much better than the Sonic Adventure ports for the GameCube. The characters have sort of a plasticky look to them. Some people don't like it, but I think it looks alright. It gives the characters a sort of glow and a more cartoony feel. It also makes them easy to see when you're speeding through stages or in dark areas. The music is good too. Each team's theme song is going to depend on your own personal preference if you're going to like it or not, but the stages have nice music. The music for each stage really fits well. From the poppy bouncy horns on the beach levels,
I'm ready to take them out!
to the carnival style tunes in the haunted house levels.
Worthless consumer model.
But I didn't really enjoy the canyon levels music much. But that might be just because you have constant grinding noises over top. I also like how they did away from the different sort of playstyles they had in the Sonic Adventure series. I always found Sonic's levels to be the most fun in those games. Treasure hunting with Knuckles or going around in a mech suit with Tails didn't really feel like a Sonic game to me. I want a game like this where I can play as Sonic, Tails or Knuckles by themselves, like the classic games on the Mega Drive. Is that too much to ask? After every 2 stages, you have a boss battle. These are split into 3 different types. A battle with Eggman and one of his machines, a battle against another team because we ain't friends here, and a battle against a horde of Eggman's robots. None of these are very difficult. In fact, some take upwards of 8 seconds. Once you've finished the 14 stages, you face the final boss, the Egg Emperor. Again, this boss isn't very difficult, just requires you to spam attacks with the power of Flight character. After you've finished each team's stories, you're asked to collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds. You collect the emeralds by getting a key in the even numbered stages. Then you have to get to the end of the stage without getting hit and losing your rings, or else you lose the key. After you finish the stage with the key, you enter a special stage. I found the best way of doing this is by going to the stage select and playing the stage you need as Team Rose. As these stages are short, and if you use a Team Blast you get a shield, giving you an extra hit before losing the key. The special stages are similar to the Sonic 2 special stages. As you're running down a tube chasing the Chaos Emerald, you collect spheres that fill up a boost meter. This is the first instant of the boost mechanic in a 3D Sonic game. And these special stages are awful. You need to boost to catch the emerald, but when you boost you have no control. I just couldn't do these. I had to look up the best way to get the emerald. Turns out the best way to do it is to switch to the power character and spam the boost button, and then you'll get the emerald in a matter of seconds. You'd think it'd be better to be the speed character as you're chasing the Chaos Emerald, but no! It's the power character! So now you've collected the 7 Chaos Emeralds, it's now time to face the last story. It turns out it wasn't Eggman after all you were chasing, but Metal Sonic. He'd stolen the lifeform data of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, the ultimate lifeform, and Froggy, who must still have some of Chaos' sweet DNA inside of him from Sonic Adventure 1. After a long cutscene of knife sound effects, Metal Sonic transforms into Metal Madness. Team Rose, Team Chaotix, and Team Dark take turns fighting. This fight is again quite easy, but it is long. You need to attack the glowing balls on Metal Sonic's body. The balls change colour, and whatever colour it is, you can't attack with that character. So, if it's red, you can't attack with the power character. After you've taken down Metal Madness, he will transform again, and with more knife sounds, transform into Metal Overlord. Team Sonic used the power of the Chaos Emeralds to turn super. Well, Sonic turns super. Tails and Knuckles get put into bubbles because that's fair. Metal Overlord is easier than Metal Madness. You can only damage him with Team Blast, so you need to fill up your Team Blast meter. The best way I found to do this was just to switch to Tails and spam the attack button. This fills up your Team Blast meter, and also you'll collect rings from balloons if they're nearby. After you hit him with the Team Blast 5 times, Metal Sonic will transform back into his original form and collapse to the ground. With Metal Sonic defeated and back to his regular form, Sonic tells him to try again because he believes you shouldn't stop trying to achieve your dreams. Sonic, Tails and Amy run off somewhere, Shadow and Omega take Metal Sonic and start a rock band called Metal 3. Rouge and Knuckles flirt, and then star in some fanfiction I wrote about them starting a dog grooming business. And Team Chaotix try and get paid because
That's the policy!
Then you watch the credits for the 5th and final time. I had an alright time playing Sonic Heroes, but some parts were rage-inducing. I enjoyed my first playthrough of Team Sonic, despite some of the levels being too long and feeling like the controls got less responsive as I went, but Team Dark ruined the fun for me. The stages were too long and I felt like I died unfairly too many times. Team Rose and Team Chaotix were a nice change of pace, but again, Team Chaotix stages, some of them were just too long. The special stages are awful, and the final boss was just not that exciting. Metal Madness was more challenging than Metal Overlord, because I could just spam Tails' Thunder Shoots and build up the Team Blast. Overall, Sonic Heroes is a pretty average game. Playing the same levels 4 times with only slight variations isn't that fun. I could understand it if you were sharing a save file with people, but people don't really play games that way. But hey, that's just my bony opinion. I guess that's why they call me Captain Bone! Wait, what?